kind enough to fill in for us.
Okay, very good. We'll get
Mhm.
started as soon as court.
By the way, our reset date is April the 8th.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Your Honor, did you see the add-on calendar?
Yes, I got it just before I logged on. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry you sound so happy.
Just as many on the add-on calendars on the regular calendar, so I wish they would put them
Yes.
all together on one so that. But yes, I got it, Ms. Bridgewater. Thank you.
Okay.
We're ready, Judge Morrow. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. If you do not have a private attorney, we're providing you with the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Who do we have first?
This is add-on one, Mr. Adams.
Good afternoon, Mr. Adams. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001527B with driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, improper or erratic lane change, and driving on the wrong side of the road. Good afternoon, Ms. Hardy. Is there a history?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This defendant has, the last arrest was July 20th, 2022 out of Holly Springs, Georgia for a probation violation. They have a total of 3 arrest cycles, 1 arrest out of South Carolina, 2 out of Georgia. Nothing further to report.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Allen.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Happy Friday.
It's Friday?
I mean, happy Monday. It's already been a whole week.
Okay, you just brought me out of my funk, Miss Allen. Thank you. Go ahead.
This is an incident from the 23rd of March at about 2:20 in the morning in Alpharetta. The defendant was seen driving a vehicle, failing to stay within his own lane, and then at one point actually crossing over into oncoming traffic and going the wrong way. This was on Milton Avenue. He was pulled over and stopped on Belvoir Lane. That's Belvoir, French, evidently. He was approached. He had slurred speech. He had an odor of alcohol on his breath. He was fumbling for his license, and he wasn't cooperative when officers asked him to step out. I mean, obviously, you don't have to agree to do FSTs, but he constantly questioned why police wanted him to get out of his vehicle and questioned directives, and he didn't want to talk to the police. When officers went to just arrest him for driving under the influence less safe, he pulled away and was refusing to provide his arms or hands for being cuffed, and that's the basis of the obstruction. We are asking for a $2,000 or $8,000 surety, so $2,000 on each count, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. There are multiple convictions and arrests for driving without a license out of South Carolina as well as Georgia, and multiple failures to appear as part of his driver's history, 2016, 2015, 2017, 2020, and 2022. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's representing Mr. Adams?
Samaya Patton for the Public Defender's Office, Your Honor.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Patton. You can proceed.
Your Honor, we're going to be requesting a signature bond. Mr. Adams is a veteran. He has been living in Alpharetta off and on between 2011 and then again in 2018. He is a high school graduate. He's graduated from Morgan State University. He's attempting to enroll in a tech school for IT training. He is a yoga instructor. He coaches his son's soccer team. He's the primary caregiver for his two children. He has a 11-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old son. He's currently their primary caregiver. His wife works a lot. And so we are asking for him to be released so that he can handle those things. He's a civil servant, Your Honor. He was a firefighter for 3 years in Baltimore County when he lived there. And acknowledging his history, we are going to ask that he be released through pretrial services.
Okay, for the DUI, it'll be a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the obstruction, a $500 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the erratic lane change, a $250 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the wrong side of the road, a $250 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No driving without a valid license, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Adams. You're welcome.
We're gonna go to position number 1, Mr. Accusations.
Okay, this is position 1 on the regular calendar. Good afternoon, Mr. Atkinson. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001515C with criminal trespass. Is there a history?
The last arrest was February 7th, 2024 out of Fulton County for a probation violation. There is a total of 29 arrest cycles, arrests out of Georgia, Illinois, and California. There are 4 felony convictions outside the last 10-year period from Illinois. In Georgia, there's a 2017 felony conviction for aggravated assault and robbery. Also in 2017, forgery. 2019, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. There's a misdemeanor conviction in 2017 for cruelty and then obstructing a 911 call. Nothing further to report.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Malgisa.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. How are you?
Doing well. Hope you are as well.
Good, thank you. Yes, Your Honor. On March 22nd, 2025, officers responded to Columbia Capitol View Apartments located at 685 University Avenue Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia, regarding a possible criminal trespass still on property. The defendant was found inside a vacant unit. An officer from Braswell Police Department stated and was able to provide a documentation that he had given the defendant a criminal trespass warning on March 21st, so the previous day from when the incident took place. The state's recommendation is a total 1,000 signature bond through pretrial with conditions to stay away from Columbia Capitol View Apartments, located at 685 University Avenue Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. The reason for the recommendation is the nature of the incident and the fact that the defendant had been given a criminal trespass warning the day before the incident took place.
Tell me what your bond recommendation is again, please.
$1,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Okay, any objection to any of that, Ms. Patton?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away from the incident location, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Atkinson.
Position number 3 on the regular calendar. Mr. Battle.
Good afternoon, Mr. Battle. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001516E with battery. Is there a history? Sorry.
No, Your Honor, no history to report at this time.
Yes, counsel.
Yes, Your Honor. On March 22nd, 2025, officers responded to location 3048 Middleton Road, Unit 425, in reference to an incident between the defendant, Mr. Battle, and his mother, Ms. Kendra Battle. While investigating, the defendant, Mr. Battle, directed his anger towards the victim, which is Mr. Kedwan Jenkins, and he's an acquaintance of the defendant. The officer observed the defendant punch the victim in the face. The victim fell to the ground and lost consciousness. The victim sustained an injury to the back of his head, and there was blood coming out of the victim's head. The state's recommendation is a $1,500 surety bond, no contact with Mr. Kedwan Jenkins, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. We try to speak to the victim. We have not been able to. We left a voice message. But according to the police report, the victim does not live in the location where the incident took place. That's why we're not asking for a stay away. Just not contact at all with Mr. Kedwan Jenkins. Yeah, that's all we're asking, Your Honor.
Okay, if Mr. Jenkins is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Ms. Patton?
Your Honor, we are going to be requesting a signature bond. Mr. Battle doesn't have a history. He doesn't have a prior. He's 20 years old. He is a native to Atlanta. He's been living over there for a couple years. That is someone that he knows and has not had any prior issues with. He's currently employed through Georgia Tech through their event scheduling. He's attended Frederick Douglass High School, and he is currently facing some issues with anger management, which he has addressed. And so we would like to have him released through pretrial services so that he can continue with his program that he's currently in. And we just want him out so that he can continue with his life, Your Honor.
Okay, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 1 day anger awareness, no further contact with Mr. Jenkins, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Battle.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is ACDC. I have this Attorney Fisher client here, position number 6.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Fisher. So
This is number 6 on the add-on, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Since we have 2 large calendars, if you all will just let me know which one it's on, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, Zalin. Good afternoon, Ms. Nicodemus. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001530C with stalking and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was May 12th, 2000 out of Fulton for driving while license suspended or revoked. That was the only arrest cycle. Nothing further to report.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident that was reported on the 11th of January. There's surveillance footage of the defendant on the porch of the victim. There is a history between these two individuals going back to 2022 that includes harassing phone calls and text messages. The victim specifically, and I'll make sure I put her name on the record, give me one moment, reported that she had observed the defendant's vehicle going back and forth in front of her home at 956 Waverly Way Northeast. The defendant then eventually pulled into the driveway, got out of her vehicle and went onto the front porch, was seen on video looking into the windows and repeatedly knocking on the door. This is a woman who understands that the victim does not want any contact. We're asking for a $4,000 SOB, Your Honor, no contact, stay away from that location, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And let me pull up the correct name. Excuse me, it's Christine. I believe the last name starts with a B, but let me make sure. Christine Brothers, Brouthers is the correct spelling. Thank you.
Okay. Person is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Mr. Fisher?
Hey, Judge, thank you. Miss Nicodemus is a resident in Atlanta and Grant Park. She has two children, ages 15 and 13. She and her husband own their own home. She is married. She is gainfully employed, educated. She's been with the same company now for, I think, a couple of years. Before that, she was with the same company for about 23 years. So she's had longevity in her position, and she's well thought of. I just got involved in this case, Your Honor. I don't know all the facts and details. I did see a warrant for harassing communications, and I did see that there were two accusations. So I'm not quite sure what they're proceeding under, because according to the booking sheet, it's harassing communications, but on the Odyssey it says stalking and criminal trespass. So I don't know if the state is going forward on all three.
No, I'm not moving forward on the harassing communications. I changed it to stalking, and there's a criminal trespass. Those are just the two counts we have.
Okay,
I
got it.
apologize for any confusion.
No, it's all good. And so, Your Honor, we're asking for signature bond on this case. She's got no prior history. I mean, like the young lady said, it's been 25 years since she had any issues. Now it's just driving with a suspended license. She's got no DUIs and no violent history.
All right, for the stalking, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, criminal trespass, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, ma'am. Anything further this afternoon, Attorney Fisher?
No, Your Honor, I'll advise the family. Thank you.
Very good. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Your Honor, I guess courtroom 2, something happened, I'm not sure. But add on position number 2, Ms. Matthews.
Okay.
Hello, Your
Good
Honor.
afternoon.
How are you? Good afternoon.
I'm doing well. Good afternoon. Your name is not on the screen there for me.
Oh,
Who am I
I'm sorry.
speaking with?
It's Sylvette Matthews.
Okay, and how are you related to the case, Ms. Matthews?
I'm her mother.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Ms.
Yes.
Matthews. Okay,
Thank
we'll
you.
be with
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh,
And
hold on. I have to view with my. I am that. Oh, come on. This is Miss Saunders' mother. So Miss Saunders is add-on. I'm not sure what position that is, Your Honor.
Well, she says she's Miss Matthews, and Miss Matthews was position number 2. So is this Miss Matthews at ACDC here?
No, this is Miss Saunders. I don't
Miss
have a position,
Saunders?
but Miss Matthews is Miss Saunders' mother.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Well, we have a third add-on calendar, is my understanding. So that's position 1 on that calendar. And this
Okay.
is Paulina Saunders. Is that who we have?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Saunders. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001514J with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
No, Your Honor, no history to report at this time.
Thank you. Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from March the 22nd, 2025. The location is 5609 Oakley Industrial Boulevard in Fairburn. The victim in this case is named Damian Smith. The police reports indicate that he and the defendant share a very young child, about 3 months old. He reported that they used to live together at that location, that they were arguing about custody. The defendant approached him aggressively as he was laying in bed and repeatedly struck him in the face. So this is one count of simple battery family violence, Your Honor. We did speak to the victim, Mr. Smith. He reports that he and the defendant are in a relationship. He corroborated the information. The assault was on video camera, Your Honor. He's asking for a one-time law enforcement escort that the defendant will need to have to get her belongings, and he wants no contact and to stay away from that location, Your Honor. And again, that's 5609 Oakley Industrial Boulevard in Fairburn. And if you will sound for Mr. Damian Smith. Thank you.
If Mr. Smith is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Ms. Patton?
Your Honor, we're going to be requesting a signature bond. As she's already stated, there are no priors. This will be the first offense for Ms. Saunders. As she's communicated to me, they're broken up. She will need an escort to go and grab her things. She tried to move here from Connecticut to make the relationship work for their 3-month-old baby, and obviously it's not. So we're requesting that she be released so that she can grab her things. Her mother is on her way here, so she can be transported back to Connecticut safely with the baby. So we're just going to ask that she be released on a signature bond through pretrial services.
Okay. So I will grant her a signature bond. It will be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from the incident location. She can go back to that location on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that she has. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes,
Thank you.
Ms. Matthews. Good luck to all of you all.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. You have a
Yes,
blessed
ma'am.
day.
You do the same. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
And going to I believe this will be add-on number, the second add-on, position number 7 is Northern.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Northern. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001529G with battery. Is there a history?
The last arrest was October 22nd, 2022 out of Warner Robins for a DUI. There's 3 misdemeanor convictions outside the last 10-year period. There's a 2021 fleeing and attempting to elude misdemeanor conviction, 21 total arrest cycles. There appears to be a hold out of Fort Valley for an FTA, and the date of that is January 18th, 2023. And also out of Warner Robins, and the date of that one is April 22nd, 2024. Nothing further.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from January the 26th of 2024. There's been an outstanding warrant since this incident occurred. Police were called to 5750 Buffington Road, specifically Unit 4301. There, it's reported that during an argument, the defendant picked up a lamp and swung it at Livingston Milbury, Milbry is the last name. Police observed a red abrasion on his face, and on scene, the defendant made admissions to doing this action. We're asking for a $2,000 surety, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and no contact. We did try to get in touch with Mr. Milbury today, but have not been successful at this point yet. If you would sound for him, Mr. Livingston Milbury, thank you.
Mr. Milbury is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Doesn't appear so. Ms. Patton?
Hey, excuse
yes.
me.
Yes, who's trying to get my attention?
Hi, my name is Miss Johnson. I am in court for something else, but I'm just hearing my son's name, Livingston Milbury, birthday 6/20/90. That's my son.
Yes, ma'am. Apparently he was the alleged victim, and that's why his name was mentioned, and that's why I was sounding for him. Okay,
Is the
so
victim Malik Johnson?
ma'am, we are on a Miss Northern, okay? So
Okay.
apparently he is the alleged victim in that case. If that's so no, and I was sounding to see if he was with us. Apparently he's not. All right. Yes, Miss Patton.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. We are going to be asking for a signature bond in this case, acknowledging her history. However, just specifically for that DUI, Ms. Northern was not aware of the DUI. It seems like once she became aware, I'm sorry, of the FTA, and once she became aware of the FTA, when she called, she had not had notice of it because her attorney at that time had been deceased for almost a year. And she's been back and forth in Atlanta, in her hometown. She's currently working at Coca-Cola. She's at risk for termination if she's not released soon. And she's taking care of her 2 kids. She no longer has contact with that victim. It has been almost 2 years at this point. So we're going to ask that she be released on a signature bond so that she may get her affairs in order.
Okay, it will be $1,000 good bond. No further contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Miss Northern.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Number 6, Mr. Cohen, on the regular calendar.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Cohen. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001521J with battery family violence, simple assault family violence, simple battery family violence, and 2 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was August 22nd, 2019, out of Cobb County for a DUI and possession of Schedule II controlled substance. There's a total of 24 total arrest cycles, arrests out of Florida and Georgia. 4 felony convictions out of Florida outside the last 10-year period. There's a 2017 felony conviction for possession of cocaine, 2019 possession of Schedule II controlled substance. There's also a 2019 DUI. Nothing further to report.
Yes, Ms. Malgesio?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place on March 22nd, 2025. The location is 884 Ember Place Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, which is a residential home. The officers made contact with the defendant, Joel Cohen, who advised that his wife and children also live in the property. Officers asked to speak with the defendant's wife, Miss Anna Cohen, who is the victim in this case. She seemed very nervous and advised the police that she did not call 911, but she appeared to be attempting to ask for help without speaking and holding back tears. After separating the parties, the officer spoke with Miss Cohen, who told the officer that the defendant and her were painting in the backyard. The defendant fell, and after falling, he started acting very aggressive and launched his head in the direction of the victim's head, striking her under the eye and causing swelling. According to the victim, the defendant proceeded to strike her in the back of the head, which caused her to black out momentarily. The defendant tackled Miss Cohen and began dragging her by the hair down the steps. The officer was able to observe swelling under the victim's eye and some scratches. There were two minor children present, MJ, who is 6, and MC, who is 4. They witnessed the incident. The state's recommendation is a total bond of $10,000 surety bond. That's going to be $3,000 for count 1, $2,000 for count 2, $2,000 for count 3, $1,500 for count 4, and $1,500 for count 5. No contact with Miss Cohen or the children. We're not asking for a stay away from the location. The victim actually told us that she relocated. She's no longer living there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Your Honor, we were able to speak with the victim. She stated that they are married. They share one child. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She wants no further contact. She had a temporary restraining order in the past, and actually the defendant convinced her to dismiss it, so the TPO is no longer active. I believe she's trying to get another TPO today. But yeah, again, she wants no victim with the defendant, and she doesn't want the defendant to have contact with the children. I believe the victim is on Zoom. If we can sound for her, please.
Okay, Ms. Anna Cohen is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. If you would like to address the court, you'll have to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I will have to swear you in. Does not appear so. Ms. Patton?
Your Honor, we are going to be asking for a signature bond in this case. Mr. Cohen and his wife have both had extensive contact with this court system. And like she said, he hasn't had an arrest since 2019. He has been sober since then, trying to get his life together. He's communicated that he is the primary caregiver in this case of the 2 younger daughters because of the wife's current condition. They've been back and forth with her being in the home and out of the home, and they're trying to reconcile things. And they had this incident, but we're asking that he be released. He's willing to get services through our office. He has his own company that he's currently running, and we think it'll be beneficial that he be out to get help for his issues. Like I said, he's currently sober. However, if he could receive anger management courses through pretrial, we'd be asking for that.
For the battery, it will be $1,000 good bond. For each of the other charges will be a $500 good bond. Makes a total of a $3,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Cohen. Third-party transfer of any minor children for visitation. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Back to you, Mr. Cohen.
Number 7, Couch.
Say it again for me, please.
Number 7, Mr. Couch.
Good afternoon, Mr. Couch. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001520Y with reckless driving, hit and run, and improper or erratic lane change. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was November 18th, 2000 out of Atlanta for a DUI. There's a total of 4 arrest cycles. Nothing further to report.
Yes, Ms. Malpizo.
Yes, Your Honor. On November 24, 2024, officers were dispatched to 3157 Old Jonesboro Road, Atlanta, Georgia, in reference to a hit and run. The complainant advised that the defendant's vehicle was traveling east on Birch Street. The vehicle crossed the opposite traveling roadway, failing to maintain lane. The defendant's vehicle hit a basketball hoop and collided with another vehicle. The complainant was able to retrieve the license plate of the defendant's vehicle, and another witness stated that she saw the defendant and told him that she was going to call the police. And the defendant just went back to his car and drove away. A headlight was recovered from the scene. The state's recommendation is a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And the reason is the nature of the incident and the fact that the defendant was driving in a manner that put the safety of others at risk.
Any objection to any of that? Good afternoon, Mr. McLean.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. No objection. Thank you.
All right, so for each charge, it will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Couch.
Number 8, Davidson on the regular calendar.
Good afternoon, Mr. Davidson. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001506C with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
Yes, Your Honor. The last arrest was February 2nd, 2025, out of Fulton County for criminal trespass. That case is open under 25 CR 000527C. They have 8 total arrest cycles in Georgia. Misdemeanor conviction in 2024 for theft by shoplifting. And they're currently being supervised by pretrial, so we'll be surrendering the bond. Nothing further.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Tuck.
Afternoon. We'd be asking for a $2,000 good bond in this case with a stay away from the Shell gas station at 902 Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway. The facts allege that this defendant was at the gas station for too long. He attempted to steal a candy bar that the manager ended up just letting him have anyways. But he did explicitly ask him to leave the property and he refused. The officers arrived and gave him a CT warning and escorted him off the property. But minutes later, he went right back into the store. So they arrested him at that time and found he also had an FTA warrant for criminal trespass. As you heard, he did have that open case just last month. It was in front of you. You granted him a $2,000 signature bond, as well as out of 10 cycles, everything in his history is from the past year. We've got a criminal trespass October of last year, a criminal trespass August of last year, a theft by shoplifting August of last year, obstruction from March of last year. So I believe that the risk of reoffense is very high and he's got an FTA. So for those reasons, we'd be asking for a $2,000 good bond with a stay away.
Thank you. Mr. McLean.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have that Mr. Davidson is a Georgia resident. He's 21 years old. He designs his own clothing. He has his own clothing brand, despite having a ninth grade education in high school. So he's a creative person. I don't know what's going on there with these arrests, but we would ask the court to consider the lowest possible bond in this situation.
Okay, Mr. Davidson, you've been before me before, and I gave you a signature bond for a similar offense. I can't give you a signature bond again. It's going to be $1,000 good bond. I'm going to have you stay away from the Shell on Donnelly Parkway. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while you're out on bond. I'm going to see you if you don't get out. I'm going to see you back again on my SAP calendar on the 8th of next month. Mr. McLean, we need to figure out what's going on with this young man so that he doesn't keep coming before me with these criminal trespass charges. I would like to deal with both of those criminal trespasses at that SAP calendar. Ms. Bridgewater, did you get that previous number? If not, I'm happy to give it to you again so that we can place that on the SAP calendar and I can
Will you
deal
give
with
it
that
to
as
me again,
well.
please? I don't have
Yes,
it.
yes, ma'am. 25 CR 000-527C. Is that right, Ms. Tucker?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, I put
So
it
I'm
on the
gonna,
calendar.
all
for
right,
this
I'm gonna
month.
put both those on my calendar, Mr. Davidson. I'm gonna hear you, see you back again. I'll let you talk to Mr. McLean. You can say anything you need to say to him at a later time. I don't want you to get yourself into any more trouble. But the way I assess it is something's going on and I want to see what's going on with you so that we can try to rectify it. All right, I'll see you again, Mr. Davidson. Good luck to you.
Excuse me, Judge. He's gonna be on the calendar for the first. That previous case is already set for next Tuesday's SAP calendar.
Oh, okay. Well, good. So I will see him on next Tuesday. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Number 11 on the regular calendar. Oh, man.
Ms. Bridgewater, did you get that?
Yes, I got it. So
Okay,
let me
great.
ask you this, since that case is coming up, you want to just go ahead and add this new one to that one?
Right, that's what I want to do.
Okay,
So we can,
will do.
so
No problem.
hopefully he won't be in as, for 2 weeks, just for one.
Will
All
do.
right. And this is position 11. Did I hear right?
Yes, on the regular calendar.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Gilterry. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001509C with simple battery, family violence, and cruelty to animals. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy? You with me, Ms. Hardy? Do you have the history, Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge. I have 1 arrest out of Nevada, 3 out of Virginia, 1 out of Florida, and 1 out of Georgia. Out of Nevada is a 2018 DUI, 2010 DUI out of Virginia, 2018 assault and battery out of Virginia, 2018 assault and battery out of Virginia, and a 24 battery out of Florida. We are asking for a $1,500 good bond on the simple battery family violence and another $1,500 good bond on the cruelty to animals for a total of $3,000 with conditions no further violent contact with Werner Strom, to stay away from 2323 Piedmont Road, to have absolutely no animals in the home where she's staying, and to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. These facts allege that the victim, Mr. Strom, wanted to break up with her. So the defendant became irate, punched him multiple times in the face. This was all after drinking a large bottle of alcohol and taking a few Xanax pills. She also started dragging the dog by the neck onto the patio and then punched and stomped the dog, causing it to leave the location in fear. I don't know where the dog is now. But the defendant and victim have been living together for 6 weeks at this location. We were able to speak with the victim. He let us know that they're no longer in a relationship, but they are living together. He said she was upset because he was breaking up with her, and she was just drinking, and he really called the police to get her help because she was cutting herself. He states he's not in fear of the defendant. But I'm in fear for this animal with her. So I'm still asking for that $3,000 good bond with conditions, no further violent contact with him, but to stay away from that location, to have absolutely no animals in whatever house she ends up in, and to have no drugs or alcohol or weapons.
If Mr. Strong is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Ms. Patton?
Yes, Your Honor, we're going to be asking for a signature bond in this case. Ms. Galtieri is going to refute all of those facts. We'll leave that to her defense, but that is her home. So we're going to be asking that she be able to be there. Her 4 children live there. She has a 17-year-old, 13-year-old, 12, and an 8-year-old that she's taking care of. So she is going to need to be able to have access to that home. She does not have contact with the alleged victim at this point. She is going to stipulate that she is broken up. At this point, she's working for a tech company, and she has been since before she moved to Atlanta. And so she needs to be able to attend her job. She has a degree from Old Dominion University and from a Florida State College. So she is educated, she is working, and so we would like to ask for a signature bond so that she would be able to continue taking care of her home, Your Honor.
Okay, for the simple battery, it'll be $1,000 good bond. For the cruelty to animals, a $500 good bond. Makes for a total of a $1,500 good bond. No further violent contact with Mr. Strong. No animals while out on bond. No drugs, alcohol, weapons. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome.
Add-on 2, Mariah Matthews.
Good afternoon, Ms. Matthews. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001532H with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
No, Your Honor, no history to report at this time.
Thank you, Ms. Allen.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from March the 21st of this year. At about 3 a.m., police were called to 2834 Bayard Street in East Point. There, the victim in this case, Amani Cousin, who shares a child with this defendant, reported that while he was dropping her and the child off at the location, which is where she lives with her mother, he was putting her things out of the vehicle and she became upset. They have an on-again, off-again relationship. And during this argument that they were having, she pepper sprayed him intentionally. He reported that she's done this previously in the past. And the defendant on scene admitted that she had pepper sprayed the victim. We did speak to the victim, Mr. Cousin. He did say that they do not live together, but they do share this child, that this is not the first time she's been violent. That there was a incident in Smyrna a month ago, and she's got an open case there, that he also has experienced property damage as a result of her behavior. And he's asking for no violent contact, most likely because these people are in a relationship. So we're asking for a $2,000 SOB, Your Honor, through pretrial. No contact whatsoever, or no violent contact, excuse me, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And we'd ask for a day or two of anger awareness. If you'd call for Mr. Cousin, thank you.
Mr. Cousin is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Doesn't appear so. Ms. Patton?
Your Honor, I don't have an objection to the state's recommendation.
Okay, as such, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Cousin, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Matthews.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Who do we have next?
Next is position number 12, Hancock, on the regular calendar.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hancock. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001510J with simple battery. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was November 3rd, 2024, out of Fulton County for criminal damage to property. And they're currently being supervised by pretrial on that. That open case number is 24 PI 008087. They have a total of 7 arrest cycles. There's also an open case for theft of services and obstruction. That open case number is 23 CR 003200J. Nothing further.
Yes, Judge, we'd be asking for a $1,000 good bond with conditions no further contact with the victim DeAndre Williams, as well as to stay away from the 5 Points MARTA station, as well as a possible social worker visit. I'll let the PD comment as to whether they think he needs it or not. The facts allege that as this victim was just checking her bag, she felt an unknown man come up behind her, grab her, and give her an unsolicited hug. We were able to speak with the victim in this case. She stated she did not know him, had never seen him prior to this incident, but that she is 8 weeks pregnant. So she was in fear for her safety when this happened. She ended up pepper spraying the defendant. She wants no contact with him, hopes for him to stay away from MARTA so she can continue riding MARTA safely. And she did let us know that she'd be on the Zoom if we could sound for Miss Williams.
Ms. Williams is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, we would be asking for a bond. We don't have any obvious indications of anything. He is a graduate of Maynard Jackson High School, age 24, Georgia all his life. He is looking for a job right now, but has recently worked for some time at Macy's Fulfillment Center. We would ask the court to consider the lowest possible bond, including a signature.
So, Ms. Tucker, he has a signature bond for the criminal damage to property. He has a signature bond for the theft of service.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
And then he had an FTA most recently. So for those reasons, I don't think he
Okay.
would qualify for another signature bond.
I agree. It'll be $1,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Williams. Stay away from that MARTA location. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. And that service theft of services, that is also a state court case. Is that right, Ms. Tucker?
Yes.
Okay, and if we can have both those, Ms. Bridgewater, placed on that SAP calendar as well if he doesn't get out.
Do you have that case number?
23 CR 003200J, I believe.
Okay.
Okay,
Will
all
do.
right. Thank you, I appreciate it. Good luck to you, Mr. Hancock.
All right. Number 14, I'm sorry, number 13, Harris, Jalen Harris, on the regular calendar.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Harris. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001511F with criminal trespass. Is there a history?
The last arrest was November 21st, 2021, MARTA PD for simple battery. That case appears to be open under 24 CR 007760F. There's a total of 2 arrest cycles, 1 arrest out of Georgia and 1 out of Michigan. Nothing further.
Tucker?
Yes, Judge, we'd be asking for a $1,000 good bond with a stay away from the Apple Store at Lenox Mall. That's 3393 Peachtree Road in Atlanta, as well as a social worker visit. The facts allege that in February, this defendant came into the Apple store and exposed his genitals, but left before he could be criminal trespassed. So on March 21st, just 2 days before this incident, he came back into the store and was formally trespassed and given a 5-year ban from the location. So he knew he was not supposed to be there. Then on the 23rd, just 2 days later, he showed right back up again and was arrested. So based on that, the facts alone allege, he's going to reoffend. We'd be asking for that $1,000 good bond with a stay away and a social worker visit.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, thank you. He's been in Georgia for some months now. He is moving to Georgia. His education is GED level, so he's got a high school education. He has mail service through 420 Cortland, so he should be able to get his court notices. Your Honor, he's a car porter and a dishwasher, and has also worked at Walmart, helping there. We would ask the court to consider the lowest possible bond, including a signature bond if that is possible, but if not, a $1,000 surety bond. No objection to the social worker.
Okay, it'll be $1,000 good bond. Stay away from the Apple store at Lenox Mall. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond, and a social worker visit to assist with any housing possible needs. Good luck to you, Mr. Harris.
Position 14, Mr. Hines, on the regular calendar.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Hines. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001513G with theft of service. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was January 19th, 2025, out of Hiram for terroristic threats and acts. They have a total of 4 arrest cycles in Georgia. Misdemeanor conviction in 2018 for furnished, purchase, possession by person under legal age of alcoholic beverage. There appears to be a holdout of Decatur for larceny, and that date of the warrant is March 8th, 2025. Nothing further.
Ms. Tucker.
Yes, Judge, we'd be asking for a $1,500 good bond with conditions no further contact with Constance Mink, as well as to stay away from the Tootsies at 3167 Peachtree Road in Atlanta. These facts allege that the victim performed aesthetic services to an unknown male, and upon completion, they went to check out, and the defendant said his stepfather was going to pay and walked out of the business. This defendant gave an alias of Jamon Ellis. The victim and her co-workers went after the suspect to try to collect payment, but had no luck. But they were able to capture a photo of his license plate, as well as video footage of him, which is how he was eventually identified. But based on that history, you did hear he's wanted out of Decatur for a recent larceny. He just had an arrest for felony terroristic threats from January out of Hiram. I've got a 2024 simple battery family violence out of Paulding. So he's a multi-county offender. And he's had quite a few very recently. So I believe the risk of reoffense is high, considering he's all over the state of Georgia. I believe there's a risk that he'll fail to appear. So for those reasons, we're asking for that $1,500 good bond with conditions no further contact and to stay away.
Ms. Tucker, what service did he allegedly get, and how much was the service?
It just said aesthetic services, so it could be eyebrows, nails. It didn't specify.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Jonathan Hines has been in Georgia over 20 years, so he's local. He's got a good address and the inside the perimeter area. He's got good phone numbers. His education at Hiram Georgia High School, and also a couple of years at college at Georgia State studying economics. Lately, in terms of work and career, he's been in sales and also in the installation of windows, replacement type windows. Your Honor, we would ask the court to consider a signature bond in this situation. It appears he would be fairly reliable for coming to court on time.
I'm going to release him to that hold. It will be a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from that Tootsie's on Peachtree Road. No further contact with Constance Mink. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Hines.
Next is Mr. McDonald. He's in petition number 803.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. McDonald. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001523E with theft by taking. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was August 1st, 2022 out of Clayton County for deposit account fraud. There's a total of 38 arrest cycles, 32 out of California and the rest out of Georgia. There was 4 felony convictions outside the last 10-year period. There's a 2022 felony conviction for robbery. Also in 2022, forgery and theft by taking. Nothing further to report.
Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge, we'd be asking for a $2,000 good bond with conditions no further contact with Linda Porter and to stay away from 1105 Peachtree Street in Atlanta. The facts allege that in October of 2023, this defendant went into the break room where the victim was working, rummaged through her purse, and took her wallet and $100 cash. Despite the age of this case, we were able to speak with the victim. She stated that she doesn't know this defendant, but that she confirmed the events in the warrant. She stated she never received her purse or wallet back, and one of her cards that was stolen was used at a BP gas station for about $20 or $40. She did shut her cards off after that transaction, so this took a huge toll on her life. She no longer works at this location, but she did let us know she'd be on the Zoom. We'll call for her in just a moment, but I'm asking for that $2,000 good bond based on the history. He's got loads of history out of California, as well as multiple felonies out of Georgia and a theft by taking conviction just from 2022. So we're asking for that $2,000 good bond with conditions no further contact. If at this time we could sound for Linda Porter.
Ms. Porter is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Doesn't appear so, Ms. Tucker. Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. McDonald's been in Georgia over 13 years. He's 58 years old. He is taking business administration courses even now online through Colorado Technical University. He has been a cook at a town restaurant. He's been a cook at a Buckhead restaurant. He's quite industrious. He does have a good address on McAfee Street. Apartment number, was able to reach his emergency contact easily. We would ask the court under those circumstances, and because it is 23, to set a signature bond.
$3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No further contact with Miss Porter. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. I'm going to let you out, Mr. McDonald, but if you don't show up for your next court hearing, they're going to put a warrant out for you, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, sir.
Add on position 4, Mr. McKenzie.
Good afternoon, Mr. McKenzie. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001531J with simple assault and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was August 22nd, 2024 out of DeKalb for a probation violation. They have a total of 42 arrest cycles, arrests out of Georgia and Virginia. There's a 2018 aggravated battery felony conviction. For the misdemeanor, there's a 2021 misdemeanor simple assault. And in 2018 and 2019, there's a PI misdemeanor conviction. Nothing further to report.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from the 13th of March at the MARTA station at about 11:15 in the morning. This is at 30 Alabama Street, the 5 Point station. The victim in this case is the driver. That day, she was the driver of bus 1535. Her name is Nefertara Johnson Magnum, Mangham. She made a police report that the defendant, who is known to her, is known being at the location soliciting money and is under a 60-day ban at that time that was issued January the 23rd of 2025. Had approached her aggressively and was cussing at her, and she was in fear. Police were able to pull footage that showed the defendant enter onto the bus, approach her aggressively, and cuss at her. There was actually video. He made admissions on the scene and literally said, "What? I just walked up to her and was fussing at her. I didn't touch her." We're asking for a $4,000 surety, Your Honor. He was just arrested in DeKalb. We'd ask for a social worker visit, no contact with the bus driver, Mrs. Nefertara Johnson Magnum, and I'll send that spelling to Mr. I'll send it to Mrs. Bridgewater if that's appropriate. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you.
I have it, Miss
Okay,
Allen. Thank you.
If Ms. Johnson is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mackenzie has been in Georgia right at a decade, ninth grade education, and he's disabled. He does live in a house. He pays his sister rent, so it's his sister's house. So he's got plenty of community ties and got a good stable mailing address and community support. We would ask the court to consider us. Thank you.
For each charge, it will be a $500 good bond, makes for a total of a $1,000 good bond. Stay away from MARTA, no further contact with the alleged victim. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, and I'd like for him to have a social worker visit, Mr. McLean.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, Mr. McKenzie.
No, you didn't. Sounds good. Good. 1,000 good. Position number 8 on the add-on calendar, Mr. Pledger. No, you didn't. Go over there.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Pledger. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001528J with simple battery, family violence, and theft by taking. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
Last arrest was December 17th, 2015, out of Fulton for an FTA. They have 8 arrest cycles in Georgia. There's a misdemeanor conviction in 2015 for obstruction and false name, address, and birth date. Nothing further.
Ms. Allen?
Your Honor, the defendant was picked up on this outstanding warrant at the airport on the 23rd of March. This is an incident from August the 28th, 2023. Police were called at about 9:50 p.m. to 4634 Derby Loop in Fairburn. The caller was Mrs. Kiara Sessions. She reported that she'd been assaulted by the gentleman that she shares a child with. He came over and they argued, and as he stood in the doorway of her residence, she asked him to leave. He refused multiple times and then punched her in the face. Before he left, he grabbed the Ring camera off of her doorway and fled the location. We did speak to Mrs. Sessions today. She says that the defendant has a history of being irate and threatening her, that there is no violence and hasn't been since this incident occurred, and she's not in fear. We're asking for a $3,000 surety and no violent contact with Kiara Sessions, Your Honor, and if you would sound for her. That's based on the fact that he's got prior battery, family violence arrest that was ultimately dismissed. But the fact that this has been an outstanding warrant for a period of time, Your Honor, and the victim reports that there is prior issues here. They don't live together, so I don't believe he'll need to stay away. Thank you.
Ms. Sessions, I believe you if you'd like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. You would have to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in. Doesn't appear that she wishes to address the court this afternoon. Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Your Honor. Gregory Pledger is 36 years old. He's lived in Georgia all his life. He lives on Allison Court in Stockbridge, Georgia, neighboring county. Your Honor, he has worked in loading trucks at a distribution center and at the same time, home maintenance, homes that are empty while going through legal processes to be resold by a bank. He works for a company that maintains and preserves those edifices while that's happening. He's a graduate of Columbia High School in DeKalb County. We would ask the court under these circumstances to consider a single bond. Thank you.
Okay. For the simple battery, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the theft, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further violent contact with Ms. Sessions, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Pledger.
Next is, Mr. Sharp on the, add-on, position number 10.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sharp. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001524A with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy? Let's see, Ms. Allen, do you have the history for me?
The information I have, Your Honor, lists 2 prior arrests, but no convictions, felony, drug, and DUI in the past, but nothing recent. This is an incident from December the 22nd of 2024. Police were called to the location where this defendant lives at 640 Glen Iris Drive, Northeast. It is a community with an HOA organization. The reporting party, part of the HOA there, Mr. Bakas, last name Bakas, said that the defendant was known to him, that they had placed security cameras in the mailroom there at the location because they believed the business that the defendant worked with was responsible for stealing some of the packages. On this date, the 22nd of December, the defendant is on surveillance coming into the mailroom and picking up a package belonging to someone named Margaret Burnley, throwing it at the surveillance cameras, trying to disable them. And when that wasn't successful, he took a ladder and climbed up and knocked it down, damaging the camera. This is a 1 count of criminal trespass damage, Your Honor. And we're asking for a $1,000 bond and SOB through pretrial. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and no violence or property damage there at the location.
Any objection to any of that?
No objection. Thank you.
This will be a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. I'm sorry, Miss Allen. What was it? What was your other request?
No property damage, no violence, no property damage.
All right, very good. Good luck to you, Mr. Sharp.
Mr. Williams, position number 11 on the add-on calendar. Take time.
Go ahead, I got you.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Williams. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001522A with simple battery family violence and battery family violence. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see. Before we go on, Ms. Bridgewater has let me know that they have lost internet connection. So hold on for me for just a moment, please. I'm sorry, downtown has lost the internet connection, so we'll be in recess until they come back on with us. I'm not exactly sure when we lost them. But we'll be in Miss Rockwell, do you have business before the court this afternoon? Miss Bridgewater, you back with us?
I'm about to let her in now, Judge.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she's back.
All right. I would ask where you left us, but what's the last that you heard, Miss Bridgewater?
When they were calling position number 10 up, I don't even know if you, Mr. Stephen Sharp on the add-on.
Okay, yeah, so for Mr. Sharp, it was $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No drugs,
Okay, and to stay
alcohol.
away from that location.
No, there was not a stay away, I don't believe.
Oh, it wasn't. Okay.
No, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Okay, gotcha.
And we had moved on to position number 11.
Oh, y'all kept moving, huh?
Well, we didn't know you. Yeah, this train doesn't stop unless unless we know somebody's falling off, and we hadn't figured out that you've fallen
Well,
off
I
yet.
fell off.
We have to circle back
Okay.
around.
Who
We
was
have to
the
circle back
attorney for
around to
the
pick you up.
defendant?
That was
Okay.
Mr.
Who was
that
the
was Mr.
attorney for Mr. Sharp?
I
Mr.
am.
McLean.
Okay, Mr. McLean, I just want to mark you down. Okay. And
All
now,
right.
are we on position 11?
We are. Okay, we're at the
Okay,
top of that.
very good.
All right, well, I think we're all back on board now.
Okay.
I apologize, Mr. Williams. You have, I've already gone through it, but let me just do it from the top. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001522A with simple battery, family violence, and battery, family violence. Is there a history? Did we lose pretrial?
So the internet is down here, Judge. I use my hotspot on my cell phone, so pretrial might be off until.
Oh, okay, all right, so thank you. Oh, all right, so yes, Miss Allen, do you have the history?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant has no history after 1986.
Okay,
He
thank
was
you.
convicted of a capital charge in 1986 and went to prison, but there's been no arrest since that I see.
Okay,
This is an incident that occurred at 8 Watley Street Southeast. This is from March the 23rd of this year, so yesterday. At about 9:45 a.m., police were called and they met with the victim, Mrs. Chiquita Hickson. She reported that she lives there at the location with the defendant. When police arrived on the scene, the defendant was outside and he was bleeding from his hand. Police asked him if he'd called for help. And he said no, and that there was no issue and they weren't needed. Police then called dispatch and asked them to call the number that had reached out for 911 and asked that caller to come outside. At that point, Chiquita Hickson came outside, and she was also seen to be bleeding from her hand. She said that she'd left the location to go call 911 because she didn't have a phone. that she went into the bedroom where she keeps her things in the closet, and the defendant came in and was upset. And when he came in, he hit her with the door. And they argued. She also reported that the defendant put his hands around her neck and applied pressure, Your Honor. We did speak with her. She says that this has never happened before and she's not in fear. We're asking for a $3,000 SOB3 pretrial, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and no violent contact. And if you would sound for Mrs. Hickson in case she's able to join us. I
Ms.
don't
Hickson,
see her.
it's on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Any objection to any of the state's requests, Mr. McLean?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, for the simple battery, it'd be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the battery, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further violent contact with Ms. Hickson, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Williams.
Positions, 12 on the add-on, Mr. Wilson.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Wilson. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001525F with criminal trespass. Do you have his history, Ms. Melgizio?
Okay, let me check your honor.
I'm pulling it up, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you all.
Of course. Looks like there's history out of North Carolina, 2012. Up until 2013, felony level theft conviction. And locally, Clayton County, 2023. Simple battery, family violence, 2 counts, probation violation, and this case, which is a criminal trespass.
Okay, thank you. You can proceed, counsel.
Yes, this incident took place on March 18, 2025. Officers were dispatched to Chelsea Garden Apartments located at 2135 Goodbye Road, apartment 37-722, College Park, Georgia. Defendant was observed entering a vacant apartment. According to the lease agent for the apartments, the defendant had previously asked if he could stay on the vacant apartment, and he was told no. Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial. Stay away from Chelsea Garden Apartments located at 2135 Goodbye Road, College Park, Georgia. A social service visit for any housing issues the defendant may be experiencing. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And the reason why we're asking for this is just the nature of the incident.
Any objection, Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, I normally would not. He does say that he was supposed to be cleaning up, but Mr. Wilson, if you're willing to accept the condition of not setting foot on the 2135 Godby Road apartment complex, then I will say no objection. Are you okay with that?
No objection. I have somewhere else to stay. I was employed at Chelsea Garden, but I have no problem with that.
Thank you. Okay, no objection.
Okay. So it will be $1,000 signature bonds through pretrial level 1. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Mr. Wilson, do you need assistance with housing? I'm happy to have somebody come speak with you if you need assistance. Would you like that? Okay. All right. So we'll have a social worker visit with you to see if they can assist you with your housing needs. Okay.
And if the social worker visit doesn't happen before you leave, you can come to 100 Peachtree, 16th floor, where our
She's here in the courtroom. All right.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Very good. Good luck to you, Mr. Wilson.
You have a blessed day, sir.
You do the
Thank you.
same.
Come on, Santana. Position 15, he's also add-on number 9.
And so, Mr. Excuse me. Brian Santano has 2 cases, Your Honor. The case he came in today is position 15 on the original calendar. He already has a bond on position 9 on the add-on calendar. It is a bind-over case. Both have been filed.
Okay, thank you. Let me go ahead and address him real quick, Miss Allen. Mr. Santano, good afternoon. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001508F with loitering and prowling and criminal trespass, and in case 25 CR 001512F with 2 other misdemeanor offenses. Ms. Hardy, welcome back. Is there a history?
Yes, Your Honor. The last arrest was February 14th, 2025 out of Fulton for a probation violation. They have a total of 37 arrest cycles, arrests out of Georgia, New York, and Missouri. There's a 2017 felony conviction for entering auto, 2017 misdemeanor conviction, disorderly conduct, 2018 and 2019 criminal trespass. There appears to be an open probation case for criminal trespass, and that number is 24 CR 000-926H. And then an open case for possession of cocaine and PI. And that case number is 24 PI 002132. Nothing further.
Thank you. Miss Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. So the case on the main calendar, position number 15, this is an incident from the 22nd of March, 2025. Police responded to 65 Howell Street Southeast at about 11:25 p.m. There they met with the owner of the property. It's a residence, Mr. Rosas, Ricardo Rosas. He reported that the defendant was captured on his surveillance camera. He had jumped the fence to get entry into the property and was seen looking in the windows of the bedroom. Mr. Rosas reported that this gentleman had been in and around the location for about 2 weeks, harassing himself and other neighbors by looking into their homes. He provided video of the defendant as well as a still photograph. And pretty detailed clothing information. Shortly thereafter, the defendant was located on Edgewood Street at the Slutty Vegan. He was detained and a show-up was done. The defendant was positively identified by the victim. I'm sorry, Mrs. Hardy, Mrs. Pretrial Hardy. Can you tell me if you know the incident date for the 24 CR or 24 SC case?
Bear with me, I can look it up.
Absolutely. The other case, Your Honor, is a bind over from the Atlanta Municipal Court, and it took place at 675 Ponce de Leon. I just want to make sure I didn't miss and that has already been charged, if that makes sense. Basically, it was reported there on September the 3rd of 2024, that a young woman who was a resident of the City Market Apartments had gone out to the dog walk area at about 11:15 a.m. The defendant, who she does not know, approached her and began a conversation about her dogs and then started to speak incoherently. He then exposed himself. She walked away. There were witnesses, including the janitor and a security person there at the location. The defendant was located at the Dancing Goat, also an establishment, a coffee shop there at the location, and detained and identified by the victim and the witness as the person that they'd seen exposing themselves. Additionally, this defendant was taken to Zone 6, and there, while officers were processing paperwork, he was handcuffed and attached to the bench there, and he pulled out his penis in front of the staff there at Zone 6, multiple individuals, and began rubbing it in front of people in open space there in the office, and that was captured on body cam. We're asking for a $3,000 surety bond, Your Honor, on the most recent case. That was not a bind over in position number 15. No contact with the victim, Mr. Ricardo Rosas, to stay away from 65 Howell Street Southeast. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And we'd ask for a social worker visit or a BHET. The case that was a bind over that came in with those 2 PI charges, he already had a $3,000 bond, I believe. We would ask for the additional conditions be added if it's possible for him to stay away from the city market apartments in that area. Thank you.
Your Honor, Brian Santana, 36. He doesn't have a stable address. He's from Georgia all his life. His stable address is he lives with his aunt. Your Honor, he has 10th grade education, and he has a job and a profession as a barber. We would ask the court to consider the lowest possible bond, including if that were a signature bond. We understand about the other case, and we would ask the court to consider a signature bond there as well. Social worker visit, no objection.
And Your Honor, that 24 PI case is a separate incident, and it's March the 25th of 2024. It includes a PI charge as well as a felony level drug arrest. And he does have that open case that he's on probation for, 24 CR 000-926H. That's a criminal trespass for Georgia State. That's open, and he's under sentence on, or it's not open, he's under sentence in that case, Your Honor. There's some concerns. The state's got some concerns for the defendant, his judgment, maybe MH, but also people just going about their business in and around Piedmont and Ponce de Leon, Your Honor.
Okay, I do want him to have a social worker visit to assess for a BHET, Mr. McLean.
Yes, Your Honor.
For the loitering and prowling, $1,000 good bond. For the criminal trespass, $1,000 good bond makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from the incident location. Social worker visit for BHET and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. What is the present bond, Ms. Allen, for the 2 PIs on position number 9 on the add-on?
It's a $1,500 bond on each count, so $3,000 total.
Okay, I'm gonna leave that, I'll leave that the same. So it'll be a $3,000 good bond total. Also a BHET, social worker visit to assess for a BHET. Stay away from the city market apartments and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Mr. McLean, I will reassess that if he is still in custody on the SAP date. If so, if you will have a social worker give me a report on their findings, I'd appreciate it.
Very good.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Santano.
Position number
Is it a
4,
signature bar?
Antoine Brown.
This-
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that, courtroom two.
Position 4, Antoine Brown on the regular calendar.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Brown. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001517H with criminal trespass. Is there a history?
The last arrest was October 4th, 2017, out of Dauphin County, PA, for a probation violation. They have 8 arrest cycles out of Pennsylvania. 2009 felony conviction for burglary, 2017 DUI, nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Malgizo?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place on January 28th, 2025. The location is Camelot Condominiums, Unit 117, located at 117 Camelot Drive, College Park, Georgia, 30349. This is the property belonging to Aneria M. Johnson. And Ms. Johnson stated that a male had entered the 117 unit, which is vacant, and it's under construction. And then there appeared to be 2 toilets missing. After reviewing video footage, the defendant is seen walking to unit 117, pushing open the door and entering without authorization. The officer did not observe the defendant removing any items from the unit in the video. The state's recommendation is a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. Stay away from Camelot Condominiums, Unit 117, located at 117 Camelot Drive, College Park, Georgia. No further property damage, a social service visit for any housing issues that the defendant may be experiencing, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. The reason for the recommendation is that we did speak with the victim. She stated that the defendant has been squatting in unit 115, which is right beside unit 117. The victim stated that the defendant keeps coming onto the unit, destroying property, that the board for unit 117 was actually boarded up, and the defendant was able to tamper with it and enter the unit. And the defendant also has caused several problems in the property and has bothered other residents. The victim said she will be on Zoom, if we can sound for her. Her name is, it's Ms. Johnson.
I'm here.
Activate your camera for me.
Okay.
Right. If you can
Yes,
raise
sir.
your right, yes, ma'am. If you can raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
Okay, first of all, I need to make a correction. I am the property manager. The owner is Mr. Jesse Combs, and he's here with me, but I am the property manager. I'm the one that come out and check on the property and everything. And as of March, starting from February the 10th, February the 14th, February the 26th, I have documents, video documents. I have a hidden video, and I have caught Mr. Brown from dates. I have video recordings, and the last one as of March the 25th. I'm sorry, March the 19th. I have a video of him still in power. He's drawing a line, and you actually see him on the video. There is no power registered to his unit. He lives in his mother's unit. The mother say she wasn't aware no one was in the unit. The unit was just raided by City of South Fulton police. I have multiple videos, a total of 12 videos to show the traffic that he's harboring homeless people. And I got videos actually showing him shaking on the boarded up board that we have put up there. We can't house anyone, do anything, because he's destroying our units and housing people to destroy. We just had a fire in building 9 due to faulty wiring, and number 1 would be the next building because he is drawing power from the security light. On March the 4th, Georgia Power Revenue Protection came out. They are investigating. There's an open case with him with that. Actually, I did not know court was today. I was in the process of going down to take a warrant out on Mr. Brown, and someone from the district attorney office contacted me and told me that he was in court today. He was arrested last night. But Your Honor, I have a total of 12 videos that someone needs to see. He has so many people coming in and out that are homeless, squatters. I'm talking about from naked to everything. And he doesn't have, if you give him a criminal trespass, because there are condos, the criminal trespass is only to the unit 117, but he lives right next door. So it's hard when you say a criminal trespass because he have to walk back by it to go out. And in the video, you see him walking by, physically shaking. He did not know a camera was there. The camera is inside the board. So he wasn't aware of it. The police have videos out there. The unit that he lives in is under investigation. I'm so full with this because as me being property manager, the owner is being affected by this, and we are losing so much money till it's way beyond just him on the property. We have an issue that's in the court system now with our HOA president who's not doing anything. So that's why we're left with this.
Okay. Ms. Johnson, all I have before me today is a criminal trespass that allegedly occurred on January 28th of 2025. That's all I can address with Mr. Brown. I would suggest that you stay in touch with the solicitor's office as you move forward to provide them with any information that you have regarding that. But as far as today goes, I have a criminal trespass where I'm going to make sure that he doesn't go back to where the solicitors asked for me to keep him from. But anything further, I ask that you stay in touch with the solicitor's office, and you'll have to deal with that in a different way, ma'am. You understand what I'm saying? So
I
that's not
understand that. I guess I'm just mentioning it to you to let you know that since that January incident, there have been 9 more incidents moving forward. I know we're not here for those, but I'm here to let you know that I have videos to show that he's still tampering with the property, still trying to gain entry to go back and redo damage that was done the first time, because we lost $14,000 worth of damage in that unit.
Okay. Well, again, stay in touch with or get in touch with his solicitor's office as you move forward. I appreciate you being here this afternoon, ma'am.
Well, can you please take in consideration that he's destroying the property of a senior citizen? We're having issues out there, and because of his actions, he's harboring a lot of squatters and things that are destroying the property. And we're losing a lot of money, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Again, thank you for being here. Yes, Ms. Patton.
Please do not give him a signature bond.
Well, ma'am, the state had suggested a signature bond. He does. This is a criminal trespass on that matter. So I appreciate you being here again, as I've said. Yes, Ms. Patton.
Your Honor, we're going to be requesting a signature bond in this case. We just ask that you follow the state's recommendation.
Okay, as such, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with the alleged victims. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, Ms. Johnson, if you have any additional questions, I can't answer them for you. I'm going to put you in touch with the solicitor's office. You can ask them all the questions that you need to ask them. So, can we have a victim advocate get in touch with Ms. Johnson so that you all can assist her as y'all go forward?
Absolutely. We'll have Ms. Cheney reach out. Ms. Johnson Combs, can you put your, or Mrs. Johnson with Mr. Combs, can you put your contact number in the chat, and we'll make sure that the reports about the big picture go through and get sent where they need to go.
Well, can you just let the judge know when he put in the order for him not to use the door exiting out in front of our door? There's 2 doors, but when he used the door on the right, that's when he goes by and shaking the board off the door. So if he can utilize the exit door on his side and don't utilize the door on our side, because that's where he's causing the problems, taking off the door as he walked by to exit out.
Okay, so I've already said that he can have that he's to stay away from the incident location. I'm not sure exactly where that is, but if he is, y'all just need this seems to be a separate issue than the issue that I am addressing today. So I've made my ruling on the matter. You all continue your conversations so that if there are any other allegations, that you can bring those forward.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Who do we have next?
On the regular calendar, position number 5, Mr. Henry Brown.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Henry Brown. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001518E with possession and use of drug-related object. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
Yes, Your Honor. The last arrest was September 26, 2019 out of Fulton County for an FTA. They have a total of 11 arrest cycles. In Georgia, misdemeanor conviction in 2019 for burglary. It appears that they received first offender treatment. No seal date was listed. There's misdemeanor conviction in 2005 for simple battery, 2006 for simple assault. Nothing further.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Malgizio.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place on March 23rd, 2025. Officers received a flock safety alert. They found the vehicle involved in the safety alert at a Texaco gas station located in Joseph L. Lowry Jr. Boulevard. They stopped the vehicle and detained the defendant, who was the driver of the car. The defendant did not have any identification cards on him, but provided his name, Henry Brown, and his date of birth. The officers found drug-related items in the vehicle. Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $1,000 500 surety bond, not drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And the reason for the recommendation is the defendant's criminal history and the fact that he has the failure to appear from 2019.
Okay, is this your case, Ms. Patton?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, if you don't have any objection, it's going to be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond, and a social worker visit to assist with anything that Mr. Brown may need. Is that satisfactory with you?
Yes, Your Honor, I don't object.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome.
Next is number 2 on the regular calendar, James Arnold. He's hearing impaired. So he wasn't interviewed. Can he relit?
Does he need someone to interpret for him?
Well, actually, he can read lips. And he can read the closed caption part.
So I'm not sure how that's gonna work over the video. Especially if someone needs to speak with him.
We could do a breakout session and he can, whatever they saying, so he can read what on the screen. We could do it that way.
Okay, is he the last one in courtroom 2?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so let's see. Before I just want to, what, position number 9, Hayden Ferguson, what are we doing with that case?
Is the medical reset?
Okay, so Mr. Ferguson's a medical reset until tomorrow, so that's 3/25.
And then position 5, Mr. Foster, he's a reset, for private attorney.
And then,
Okay, something came up on my screen that the attorney doesn't represent him on this matter. So do we need to have someone speak with him, Mr. Foster, today?
Well, he went back, he said he was gonna go back, he's waiting on his attorney.
Okay,
Yes, Your
so,
Honor, that would be the request from the state. That's the announcement from Renee Rockwell, and he was reset from Saturday because he said he had a private attorney. They reached out to Nicole Fagan, and she's reporting she does not represent him on this matter.
right, so your request, Miss Allen, is what?
To have the PD speak with him,
Okay,
so that we don't have a Riverside issue.
okay, I agree with you. So can we get Mr. Foster?
Stand by, I have to get someone to go get him.
Okay, so before we go, I just want to make sure I'm gonna have you go into a breakout room with Mr. McLean, but hopefully while he's in the breakout room, he can deal with both Mr. Foster and Mr. Arnold. Okay?
Okay, and then position number, I think it's position number 9 on the add-on, Mr. Murphy, he posted bond.
Okay, so Wayne Murphy posted bond. There was someone here from that case as well. Chip from Empire Parking Services. Mr. Chip, are you with me?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no problem. Did you hear what, apparently Mr. Murphy has already posted bond, so he's not gonna be with us today. You'll get notice of his next hearing date, sir.
Okay. Do you happen to see an address or a person that is going to be contacted for when we'll be notified, or who's going to be notified of that? We just make sure we don't want to miss.
Of course, the solicitors, if you'll stay in touch with the solicitor's office, can we get Ms. Tucker, Ms. Allen, the victim advocate to speak with Mr. Chip here? So that to make sure that they stay in touch with them.
Of course, if you'll put your contact number in the chat, we'll reach out to you today.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time.
What booking number of each of the 2 people we're about to do?
Do you have a calendar there? Oh, do you need the actual booking number, Mr. McLean?
Odyssey open, so all I need is just the booking number to be faster.
Is that something that's not on the regular calendar?
It would be. I've got an add-on calendar and I've got the regular calendar. What numbers are they? What position number?
So you would need position number 2, Mr. James Arnold, and position number 10, Mr. Kevin Foster. Those are both on the regular calendar.
And the booking numbers for both of them are on the calendar.
Okay, I see Foster, and the other one was which position again? Arnold.
Position 2. And Mr. McLean, if you cannot adequately speak with Mr. Arnold, then you need to let us know and we'll get an interpreter for tomorrow.
Right. But I've got the booking numbers now. Thank you. It'll just take a minute to glance at those.
No, I'm gonna go ahead and put you into a breakout room or courtroom 2.
Okay.
And so if we can go ahead and do that, and the rest of us will be in recess until you return. So those are the last 2 cases on today's calendars, I believe.
Very good.
All right, so Mr. Jordan, can you? Okay, very good. All right, so we'll be in recess until they return. Thank you all. Are we ready to proceed, Mr. McLean?
Yes, I'm Mr. Foster, and I'm sure Your Honor probably heard that once we were reading the police report, I was reminded that's a former one of the alleged victims is a member of our office, so we have to conflict out on that.
No, I did not hear that. So you're going to need to conflict out on which case?
On Mr. Arnold.
Okay. And are we ready on Mr. Foster?
Yes, Your Honor. He's going to waive his presence. I noticed he was in on several other charges, and he'll work on the bonds if possible on those several other charges. He also has 3 existing holds, and so he'd like to waive his presence and just ask for a reasonable bond on this one count of simple assault. It's an alleged jail altercation, and the state will describe that.
Okay, Mr. Foster has been charged in case 25 CR 001505A with simple assault. Yes, Miss Allen.
Your Honor, this is an incident from March the 17th at the jail in the 200 area on the 5th floor. Of course, that's 901 Rice Street. The defendant and the victim or cross-defendant, Datavius Walker, were engaged in an argument, and surveillance shows the defendant, Mr. Foster, strike Datavius Walker. Both of them were charged with either disorderly or simple assault. Neither of them were cooperative with an investigation or providing information. The defendant, Mr. Foster, clearly has a extensive criminal history and some issues he's got to deal with as far as holds are related. We're asking for a $2,000 surety, no violent contact with Datavius Walker to the event or to the extent that that's possible. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you.
Mr. McLean.
Your Honor, Mr. Foster's from Georgia. He's got a high school education, some college. He's worked in construction. And I noticed in the police report, they were both interviewed and they both said we were just playing. But upon viewing the video, the officers elected not to believe it was playing. So we would ask the court to consider a signature bond. And if not that, then $1,000 surety bond.
Okay, it'll be $1,000 good bond. No further violent contact with Mr. Walker, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Now, courtroom, where is Mr. Arnold?
They took him back.
Okay, so we're going to need to, Ms. Bridgewater, we're going to need to get, did you need an interpreter for him, Mr. McLean?
No, Your Honor, communication seemed to be pretty good. It seemed to go pretty flowingly.
Okay, well, since they've already taken him back, can we get a conflict attorney for him for tomorrow, Ms. Bridgewater?
I'll request one, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Okay, I believe that completes the calendars for this afternoon. So whenever you're ready, Ms. Bridgewater.
Okay, let's start with the main calendar. Once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be April the 8th. Position number 1 on the main calendar is reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 2, we're going to reset it pending a conflict attorney for tomorrow. Position 3 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 4 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 5, reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. Position 6 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,000 good bond. Position 7, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 8 is going to the SAP calendar for April the 1st, along with case number 25 CR 000-527C. And this particular case has a $1,000 good bond. Position 9 is medically reset till tomorrow. Position 10 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. 11, SAP calendar with a total $1,500 good bond. 12, SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. 13, SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. 14 is reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through the jail. 15 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. Now to the first add-on, starting with defendant Adams. This case is being reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 2 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 3, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 4 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $1,000 good bond. Position 5 is reset further notice as the defendant has been released. Position 6 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 7 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. 8, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 9 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,000 good bond. 10, reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through pretrial. 11, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 12 is reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through pretrial. And then the second add-on, position number 1, last name Saunders, is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Okay, I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All
See you.
right, everyone have a great day.
You too. You too. Thank you.
Happy Friday, Miss Allen.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Your Honor.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.